Hi, good morning. So we're going to today start writing a bit of a description using our plans that we've done over the last few days. Now, I'm uploading today a sheet that we kind of use in school. So I'm just going to stand up. So this shows some interesting openers we can use, some of the vocabulary from the sheets from yesterday. We've got some conjunctions, we've got common exception words, we've got parts of your monster, and also we've got punctuation as well. Okay, so you can't see it very well, but I am going to upload it as well with this video so you can have a little look. Okay, so first things first, thank you for the work that you are still sending me, photos, anything like that, even if it's not the work I'm doing on here. It's really lovely to see what you're up to, so thank you for that. So from my plan from yesterday, I've done a bit about the eyes, the mouth, the ears. Obviously need to do a little more on that as well. So I'm going to have a look at my sheet and I'm going to have a look at the openers here, because I'm first going to introduce the character, because you need an introduction really, don't you? Now the first one says, do you know? I quite like that one. Do you know this excitable monster? Now excitable I got from the description sheet from yesterday. It said, let me just find it. Yeah, it did say excitable. Okay, so do you know, and I apologise if my writing is not going to be straight because I'm writing on a bit of an angle here. So do you know this? And if you're not sure of the spelling, what do? Underline it, check it later. Don't worry about your spellings as you're writing. Because I'm now thinking excitable. Actually, I'm looking on my sort of thing. It's quite a hard one actually. Because I would say that's excitable. Do you know what? I'm not too sure. I'm going to give it a little wiggle and I'm going to come back to it later because I just want to check that one. Grown-ups can also make mistakes as well. Don't worry about that. So it says, do you know this excitable monster? Okay, now, which punctuation do I need for this? Do you know this excitable monster? It's a question, so I'm going to put a question mark. Now, we need a capital letter after this, because if you look at the question mark, it's almost got like a little full stop in it. So, do you know this excitable monster? If not, I'm going to write. If not, prepare to be amazed. I'm going to write. Okay, so now I'm looking at my plan and I usually start from the head and go down. You can choose whichever features you want to talk about, but just make sure you do them in some order. So what I mean by that is, don't start talking about their eyes, then talk about their mouth, then go back to their eyes again. Make sure you do talk about each thing in order. So I tend to start from the top and work my way down, just so that I don't forget anything. Or I could even work from the face and sort of go out like that, because that's how I tend to draw characters. I always draw the eyes first. So actually, let's do that. Let's start with the eyes. Now, if I look on my openers, okay, I've got some nice ones here in the middle, under his. Now, my character's eyes, if you remember, I'll show you a little picture just to remind my fabulous drawing. He had eyes on the top of his head, didn't he? I've just heard something then. On top of his head. Okay, so maybe that's what I'm going to write. On the top of his... Now, I thought when I saw the picture of him, he was going to be scaly. I sort of had that, because remember I had tentacles on his things. And I said he had like a tortoiseshell tummy that was mirrored. But I think he's going to be scaly. So I'm going to put on top of his scaly. Not sure about that one. Underline. Come back to it later for spelling. Editing is tomorrow, so you don't have to worry too much about spelling. Sound it out, write it down. So on top of his scaly head, you will find, you will find Okay, let's think. So I said yesterday he's got googly, he's got huge, he's got round, glistening in the light eyes. So you will find 2 huge, comma, and I'm going to put 2 huge, googly eyes. I'm going to do a conjunction now. So I'm going to join 2 sentences together. So on top of his scaly head, you will find 2 huge googly eyes that glisten in the light. Okay, full stop. Let's have a read of that and just see what we think. So it's always good to go back and read your work and make sure you're happy with it. Do you know this excitable monster? If not, prepare to be amazed. On top of his scaly head, you will find 2 huge googly eyes that glisten in the light. I think that's a really nice start, actually, and I haven't got the children with me to give me better ideas. So they are really good with this when we're sat on the carpet together. So I don't want to go on, I don't know how much longer my video will last. We'll try one more sentence, okay? So I've talked a bit about the eyes. I'm thinking, do I want to include any more? No, I'm going to move on. So it depends if you want to write a couple of things. I think I've got a couple of sentences about his eyes, so I'll leave it there. I'm now going to move on to his mouth because I want to sort of say how friendly he is. So I put he's got a friendly smile, tiny pointy teeth, and he's got an enormous smile that spreads across his face. So I'm looking, so it goes in the middle. I'm looking at the openers in the middle, under his. Ooh, I'm not going to go too much about the nose. I'm going to put under his piggy nose. And I'm going to put sweet. Under his sweet piggy nose is, now I'd put is an enormous, I'm going to have to move this sheet just for a minute. You'll have a bit more room than I will. Enormous smile. Now I'm using another that, but that's okay because I want to try and use some others later. Under his sweet piggy nose is an enormous smile that spreads, what had I written? Spreads across his face. So I'm using my plan from yesterday. Full stop. So under his sweet piggy nose is an enormous smile that spreads across his face. Now, I haven't used too many other conjunctions, so that's really something I'm going to be aware of when I write my next sentence. I want to try and include something else, okay? So, something else I wanted to put is about tiny pointy teeth. What could I put? So this is me thinking. I don't always have everything straight away coming out of my head. So, tiny pointy teeth. Maybe use something like a because. So, oh, okay. I don't always have to do an opener for every, an exciting opener for every single sentence. So, here's tiny pointy. I can currently hear my daughter shouting with my husband in the other room. If you're doing all this work with your little siblings, if you have them running around or any other noises in the background, you're doing a great job. Well done. Okay, his tiny pointy teeth. Now, I want to change that. So, how do I do so? His, and I've used a comma quite a lot, so I'm going to cross that out, which is fine, one line through. His teeth are, I'm going to change tiny, small, and, so I've got an and in there, pointy, because he needs them to chew, and then I'm going to put the tiny. I want mine to be almost like a herbivore, if you know that, it's like it eats leaves. So tiny leaves. I'm not sure about this sentence, I'm going to have a look at it. His teeth are small and pointy because he needs them to chew tiny leaves. We'll leave it there. So, I've just written a little bit for you. I hope that's been helpful. This is kind of like how we do it in the classroom when we're writing it together. And you saw there were points that I didn't straight away know that I wanted to write. I've had to cross out bits because I don't like it. I'm still not 100% on that last sentence. However, I'm going to carry on writing and then I'm going to look at it in editing tomorrow because that's what we do with editing. So have a go today, see how you go. Do use this sheet, maybe read it through with your helpers at home first, because it's really good just to remind yourselves about that VCOP, isn't it? So we want to use interesting openers to start our sentences. We want to use interesting vocabulary, the conjunctions. Now, some children will find some words on here easier than others. Absolutely fine. If they're not too sure how to use it or their sentence doesn't make sense, go, oh, let's look at another one. It's all a bit of trial and error at the moment, but you're all doing a really good job at home. I miss you loads. So good luck today and have a lovely day.